So one of the things I've always wanted to see in Grand Theft Auto Online is Rockstar utilize North Yankton. As you guys know, the state of North Yankton only appears in the prologue and then the mission Bury the Hatchet. And it's this really cool, snowy, Midwestern part. It's the first location accessible to the player. We know that when we go to North Yankton for the first time, it's set in 2004, 4 years before the story of GTA 4. However, only a small section of North Yankton is accessible, which is specifically the region around the town of Ludendorff. And the reason this is the case is because the rest of the map doesn't really physically exist, and several areas are not rendered and are replaced by background textures. Now, a little bit of North Yankton's background, it is primarily based upon the state of North Dakota. Now, little is known about the state of North Yankton. However, the small town of Ludendorff is located there, and it's based on Fargo, North Dakota, and Bismarck, North Dakota. And I've just always felt there was a lot of potential here. Not only is it iconic because it's the first place you go in GTA 5, but it's also like accessible in GTA Online. I remember back in the day, there were various glitches that you could do to end up getting to North Yankton, and it was kind of fun just to explore the snowy world. And I think that's another thing that players are also very much interested in. I think a lot of people, I would say a good majority of people, get really excited during the winter and holiday season when Rockstar adds snow into the game. Now, there's always that one portion of the community that doesn't seem to like it. But what if you had this world that was permanently snowy that you could always go to? I think players would be interested in that. Well, it looks like Rockstar originally had plans for that here in Grand Theft Auto Online. This is according to data miner and Rockstar Games community member Wildbrick142, who said this the other day. I will be the bringer of disappointment to the North Yankton enjoyers and say that Rockstar actually did plan to do something for it in GTA Online at one point. Unfortunately, it was not a full expansion, but you would still have been able to go through it. Stunt races, Cunning Stunts DLC added functions, which were removed a few DLCs later, into the race creator script that loads and unloads North Yankton, as well as icy variants of the stunt track props that would have been used for it. Not sure why they never went through with it. I'm guessing it's because most of the map outside of the main road is low poly, but it would have been pretty cool to have, no pun intended. It's a shame that the idea is now frozen in some vault. It's quite chilling to think that cool ideas like that can just get thawed out before released. It truly feels ice cold now that those were intended. So it looks like Rockstar did legitimately have some big time plans here, at least part of it. And it looks like that big part of it might have actually involved stunt races. That would have been fairly cool. And as you guys know right now, the stunt races take place in a variety of different locations at different altitudes and heights. Some taking us through the water, some taking us through the mountains. So having a race or a handful of races in North Yankton would have actually been pretty cool to have like a snowy track, which would obviously have sort of a different effect on our cars and vehicles, and then the snowy props that Rockstar would have had as well to make it seem more realistic. Now, I can understand why they didn't do it, and I don't know if you guys have been to North Yankton and have been exploring around, but if you like wander off of the main road, you're going to notice that it pretty much is just like blank snow. There is not a whole lot that they built for that land other than what you see in the prologue and other than what you see in the mission Bury the Hatchet. And so because of that, you might be doing the stunt race and you might look to your left, you might look to your right, and you would basically see this incomplete world, and that would not be a very good look for Rockstar. Now, personally, I would just like to see more than stunt races because I just am not a huge fan of stunt races after a really long time. I think they're fun once or twice, but then after you do them, you're like, all right, I wish I had something else to do here. But maybe this is something that Rockstar could do going forward, and they could make it more like a full-on expansion. And the reason I could see this is because this could serve as a perfect Cayo Perico 2.0. So Rockstar clearly proved themselves with the Cayo Perico update that they can successfully do map expansions in Grand Theft Auto Online. And the best part about the whole thing is that North Yankton is pretty much already built. All Rockstar would have to do is sort of touch up the parts of the map that are really not fully built. And I feel like if they had a whole team to do that, they could easily do so. Now, it also begs the question, what would you do in North Yankton? Well, it could be something very similar to Cayo Perico, where it really just serves one purpose. And that could be like for a heist or for a new business type or something like that. Now, in a perfect world, I'd like for it to be accessible during free mode as well, but we know how Rockstar works, and some of the cooler things they have in game aren't just necessarily allowed for us to just walk on through. But North Yankton does have lots of potential. It has a cemetery, it has various businesses, it has a downtown, it has a giant chipmunk statue, it has a bank that you end up robbing in the very first mission of the game. How cool would it be if we actually got to go back and rob that bank again? And it would be kind of interesting if we did so with Michael DeSanta, because as you know, there are rumors and reports that he is going to be returning to Grand Theft Auto Online. As you guys know, he is alive because Franklin actually mentions him during the contract DLC that he's still working in that movie studio. So wouldn't that be pretty interesting and sort of go full circle if Michael returns back to North Yankton to rob the bank that he failed to get away with the money and that he ended up getting shot and setting up his friend Trevor? It would also be very interesting if Trevor ended up returning to this. You could also possibly even work with Davey and the FIB. Who knows? There's lots of different routes that honestly Rockstar could go here. And I feel like Rockstar was so close to doing something bigger and better with North Yankton. I mean, there's even maps that can be found on the in-game files that obviously show you the roads and the various cities. There's unique variants of vehicles like the Stockade, the ASEA, the Rancher XL, the Police Rancher, the Esperanto, the Emperor. There's various Easter eggs like postcards that can be found in Michael's mansion. The fact that we can even get there at one point in time in Grand Theft Auto Online suggests that Rockstar did have some plans for this in some way, shape, or form. So it's a little sad that we haven't seen anything official given to us by Rockstar, but things might change with the success of Cayo Perico and what they had planned in the files. I think it's very easy to say and possibly predict that we could see something like this going forward. And I think that would be a really cool DLC. But as always, I'd love to hear from you guys in those comments down below. Let me know what you think about North Yankton and GTA Online. Would you like to see it? Would you not like to see it? Do you care? Do you not really care? Let me know what you guys are thinking in those comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you guys did go and enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and all the Rockstar Games videos that I'll be doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.